Good evening. We're back with another episode of the Lord of the Rings LCG Progression Series. And tonight is a card review of the Escape from Mount Graham Adventure Pack. So I wasn't a big fan of the Wastes of Eriador Adventure Pack. The quest was okay, pretty challenging quest. But I enjoyed the day and night mechanic. But let's take a look at the cards here. The hero is Rossiel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Rossiel? Anyway, lore hero, 8 threat, 2/1/2, 3 health. So the stats aren't good. Let's take a look at the ability. If the active location shares a trait with a location in the victory display, Rossiel gets +2 willpower. If an attacking enemy shares a trait with an enemy in the victory display, Rossiel gets +2 shields. Okay, well, if you set her up as a 4 willpower hero in the lore sphere, she'd be good. If you set her up as a 4 shields hero in the lore sphere, she'd be good. But she's not going to be good right away. She's going to be kind of weak early. Kind of weak early in solo play is not good. So let's take a look at the cards and see how quickly you can actually get her set up reliably. So we'll come back to her later. Veteran of Osgiliath. 3 cost 1/1, Gondor Warrior. Veteran of Osgiliath gets +1/+1/+1 when your threat is 40 or higher, so it's another Valor card. Well, when your threat is 40 or higher, he's good, but that's not going to be till later, so he's not good early. And not good early usually means not good in solo play. Unless he really ramps up hard. Like Elrond Villia is a little slow, but it ramps up so hard that it doesn't matter in some decks. It's not good in all decks right now. But this card doesn't ramp up hard enough to make it good in solo play. Now, I think you'd play it in a Gondor deck. With Boromir, it's not bad. But without Boromir, I don't think this is good early. And not good early is no good in solo. Descendants of Kings, 1 cost. Ready X Dunadane characters you control, where X is the number of enemies engaged with you. Okay. So I got some action advantage. So now the benefits of playing Dunadane are you can draw a card with each Dunadane character. You can reduce the cost of a Dunadane ally for each enemy engaged with you. And you can ready X Dunadane characters you control, where X is the number of enemies engaged. Well, how many enemies are you going to be reliably engaging? 2, maybe 3? Probably 2, though. So if this said 1 cost to ready 2 Dunadane characters, would it be good? It's not bad. It doesn't make the Dunadane synergy good for solo play, but it's not bad. I'd include it in a Dunadane deck. I tried a Dunadane deck. It wasn't good in solo. I didn't think so anyway. I wanted it to be, because I like new synergies and new ways to play, but we'll keep an eye on this synergy, but for now, I'm not a fan of it in solo play. It could be good as your combat deck in multiplayer, I don't know, maybe. It might be worth a try. Dunadane Warrior, 2 cost, 1/1/2, 3 health. Sentinel cannot have restricted attachments, so it's Tactics End. Enters play exhausted, as all Ents do. While defending, it gains action deal 1 damage to Dunadane Warrior to give it +3 attack, +3 shields for this attack. Once per attack. So you can make it 5 shields. That's a good defending ally. With the caveat being you have to knock something off of its stats for the turn delay to interplay. So it's worse than it looks at first glance. But that's not a bad defending ally. Might be worth a look in the future. For siege questing. Oh, it's for an attack. while he's defending, so you can't use it for siege questing. Yeah, for a situation where you need a big defense ally, he's worth a look. That situation doesn't come up a lot. I don't know if there's going to be Ent synergies in the future, except for like the Treebeard ally. But I'll keep this card in the back of my mind. It's not a phenomenal card. It doesn't unlock any new strategies. But I'll keep it in the back of my mind. Boomed and Trumpeted. 1 cost. After an Ent character takes any amount of damage, ready it. That character gets +3 attack until the end of the phase. That's pretty good, especially with the Treebeard hero. That's pretty good. Because you can deal, or with the Dunadane warrior even. With the Dunadane warrior you can defend for 5, ready him, and give him +3 up to 4 attack. That's not bad. It's a 2 card combo. So I think this card's primary use would be with Treebeard. And with Treebeard it's a good card. If I was playing Treebeard in Tactics, I'd definitely play this. I like it with the Treebeard hero. Not a must-have card. Is it a must-have card for a Treebeard deck? Definitely improves it, I think. Definitely improves the Treebeard deck. So one of the problems the Treebeard deck has is that you can't quest with him and attack or defend, and this helps with that. So I do think it improves the Treebeard deck. Elvin Jeweller. I haven't yet made a good Treebeard deck, but I'm looking forward to it. Elvin Jeweller, 2 cost, 1/1/1, 2 health. Action, discard 2 cards from your hand to put Elvin Jeweller into play from your hand under your control. Well, I suppose if you had 2 cards you don't need, but you're only getting 1/1/1 stats, it's not that good. This is kind of meh. I don't really like, we've seen a number of cards now that are essentially free, but they're only like 1/0/1 or 1/1/1. They're not that good, because they don't scale well. Like late game, what do you care if you get another 1/1/1 chump usually? When late game is when you would have 2 cards to discard, so it's not going to be good early game because you're not going to want to discard 2 cards most likely, unless you have really strong card draw. And it's not that good late game because it's just not a very good late game card. Its stats are weak. So for me, that card's meh. Double Back. Side quests, 0 cost, 4 progress needed to complete. Limit 1 per deck. When this stage is defeated, reduce each player's threat by 5. Well, it costs you a turn to do that. So be kind of low down on the list of ways to reduce threat. Because, yeah, it doesn't cost anything, but you won't be able to rely on it because it's 1 per deck. And it costs you a turn of questing to do it. I probably won't play that unless I was really desperate for threat reduction, or if the nature of the quest made side questing make sense. So far I haven't seen much to like from the side quests. I've seen them in people's decks, but for me it just doesn't make a lot of sense to spend a turn on doing something unless that effect is insanely strong or I have a turn to spare or something like that because of the nature of the quest. But no side quests have come out so far that are just be like, whoa, that's powerful. Like Glorfindel level of power, or I don't know, what's a good ally or card that came out that unlocked new synergies or something. Well, in any case, I have not seen the power potential of the side quests yet. I have not seen anything that made me think, okay, yeah, I really need that in my deck. I especially because they're only 1 per deck. 1 per deck means you can't rely on them. Does it matter that you can add it to the victory display? Well, for raw seal, I mean, it doesn't add a trait, so not really. I suppose there could be a situation where it does. But anyway, I'm not thrilled about the side quests so far for solo play. Now, there was that one where each player can draw one card from their deck of their choosing. That's really strong for multiplayer. If you can get each player do that, that could be very strong for multiplayer, but I don't think it's that strong in solo. Especially since you can't rely on it. We need some like extra cards that can allow us to search for a side quest, I think. Like a character or an ally that enters play and allows you to search for a side quest. Like the Rivendell Minstrel can for songs. Or an event that can do it, something like that. So that you could at least rely on the side quests, and then if there's a decent one, maybe it'd be worth a look then. Leave no trace, 1 cost. Limit 3 copies of Leave No Trace in the victory display. After a non-unique location is explored, add Leave No Trace to the victory display to add that location to the victory display. So this is an activator for raw seal. And maybe there's going to be more cards that helps with too. So you could potentially have raw seal questing for 4, but only when the active location shares a trait. So you'd need a quest where most of the locations share a trait. Boy, this is a lot of conditions to make her good. This is a niche hero, I think. Seems like a niche hero to me. Wouldn't expect to see it in a lot of really, really good decks. Her threat's slow, though, which is nice. She'd work well with Merlone, maybe a Monosphere lore deck of some kind. Keep it in mind, but to me it seems very niche, due to the difficulty of setting up her best case scenario. Distant Stars, 0 cost, and I don't think Leave No Trace has a use without her, right? Why do you care if you add a non-unique location to the victory display otherwise right now? Exhaust a ranger or scout character. Distant Star, 0 cost. Exhaust a ranger or scout character to discard a non-unique active location. Then search the encounter deck and discard pile for a non-unique location and make it the active location. So you can get rid of a non-unique active location and replace it for one of your choosing. That could help if there's a really nasty one. You have to exhaust a ranger to do it. That's a niche card. There's not going to be a lot of situations where you want to do that, to the point where it's worth it exhausting a character and playing a card. So it could be a solution to a problem that we'll encounter in the future, but it's niche. That seems to be the story of this cycle so far. Very niche cards. Niche meaning not useful very often. Or the Dunadane, which is kind of multiplayer focused, if it's good at all. Not thrilled with this cycle so far. At least the cards in it. Keen as Lances, 5 cost. Reduce the cost to play Keen as Lances by 1 for each card worth no victory points in the victory display, so this combos with Leave No Trace. Add King as Lances to the victory display. So it's going to be -2 for each Leave No Trace that's gone off. Add Keen as Lances to the victory display, then choose one. Add 2 resources to a resource pool. Draw 3 cards or reduce your threat by 4. Well, 2 resources wouldn't be good unless it costs 0, which means you'd need 5 cards in the victory display. Draw 3 cards would be good for like 1 cost, to be very good for 1 cost. For 2 costs to be okay. So in that case you'd need 4 cards in the victory display. Reduce your threat by 4, you'd probably need this to cost 0 for that to be good. So we're looking at best case, you need 4 cards in the victory display for this to be good. And that's 2 copies of Leave No Trace, which makes this a very late game card. So unless there's going to be more cards in future expansions that add cards to the victory display, I mean, so far, have we even seen a way to put an enemy in the victory display for Raw Seal? We're going to have to set this hero aside for future expansions, I think. Right now, it's flat. Not good. At least for solo, I don't see it. It could be fun. It could be a fun deck card, but man, these first two expansions are pretty easy to just ignore if you're not a collector, I'd say, in terms of the quality of their cards. Not seeing anything anybody needs to have. Unless you're a collector or a completionist, playing through all the quests with a play group or on your own, something like that. But otherwise, Boomed and Trumpeted is probably my favorite card from this adventure pack. I'd want to like Raw Seal. Maybe more cards in the future will make her good. But right now, no, I don't see it. Don't really see it. Boomed and Trumpeted. Be worth a look in a Treebeard deck. I'm hoping I find one of those that's good soon. But anyway, thanks for watching.